Okay, so be honest. Have you been feeling a little or maybe even a lot anxious since you first heard a major snowstorm was coming our way? Anxiety over the weather is a real thing. In fact, there's a name for snow phobia. It's called kyannophobia. Dr. Ericka Bonell is a psychologist and assistant director of clinical services at Commonwealth Psychology Associates in Boston and joins us now to talk about a problem that is probably more common than we know. Dr. Bonell, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
You know, we were just thinking about it because we talked with a lot of people this week and people we work with too, friends, family members, so worried about this snow that's coming. We're still a couple of days away from it being here, and yet there's a lot of angst.
Yes, so what we call that in these Boston parts, having had our really historically significant winter here last year, is anticipatory anxiety of the snow.
Okay, so it's called anticipatory anxiety. So that can be for anything, right, that might be coming that is worrisome.
Correct. So it's similar to any type of anxiety that we can have, as an individual. And what we're experiencing here is more like a collective anxiety. So say as an individual, you have a car accident and you have rear-ended someone. So after that, you see the rear view lights go on, and you have a reaction. Your body is actually triggered by it. So there's this part in our brain that triggers us anytime it sees something that is similar to, that significant event that we experienced. And so similarly with snow, what happens to us is that if we've been down that road and our lives have been significantly altered and the media is telling us, look out, it starts to cue our brains to have that anxious reaction.
Do you think that, and it's easy to blame the media, but do you think the media, social media, all this information we're getting all the time now just kind of makes it worse?
Say that what it definitely does is it gives us more stimuli. I mean, any kind of stimuli, regarding an event that could be fear-producing is to be interpreted, but because it tends to be presented on the catastrophic side, people are going to interpret that way. So what I'm often working with people around is, okay, so let's just really think about it realistically, because we can think about the worst-case scenario, but often those worst-case scenarios don't happen, and all we can do is really think about where we have agency. So I do find that with the mass dissemination of information, and I'd say a more frequent focus on weather catastrophes, that I've seen a heightened increase anecdotally in my practice in weather anxiety. So I think nationwide we tend to, given a lot of the catastrophic events that we've experienced, that when, as soon as we get alerted, there's that tiny thing at the bottom of the TV interrupting saying, be afraid. So our brains will accommodate that, essentially.
So, Dr. Bonell, if you're this week experiencing some anxiety, you're worried about, how am I going to get there? I'm not going to be able to drive my car. I'm not going to be able to get groceries. I need to go check on my elderly mother, whatever it may be. And these thoughts start to swirl around and you get more anxious. What is the best thing to do?
I think the best way to start is really to anchor yourself in distinguishing it from past events. And it's good to know why our body's having this reaction. Know that our body is having this reaction. Our mind is starting to proliferate all those thoughts because it's anticipating this terrible event. So with anything, we can be anxious. I'm nervous about a busy weekend, and we could, our minds could go askance, but we say, it's going to be fine. I've handled it in the past. Here are the steps that I'm going to take, to manage it. And it's our brain saying it's last year, or it was this terrible other event. And yet, reminding ourselves that it's our brain's response to try and protect us, I think can be helpful in anchoring us and, and talking with others about it. And I think trying to minimize our exposure to the media can be helpful at a time like this. Find out what you need to know and then make a plan about what you need to do to take care of yourself.
At what point should you realize you may have a bigger problem than you can handle on your own?
Well, I think people definitely need to be mindful of their circumstances. I know that there are many situations when people, that they could be put at risk, and to think about that on a spectrum. And to that question, are you asking whether someone's experiencing too much anxiety? Or
when do they need some outside help? When do they need to call a psychologist or someone professional?
I think the barometer tends to be around functioning, so when functioning is becoming impaired in different areas of life, it's starting to negatively impact relationships, your work environment, your health. So we all have an anxious system. Our nervous system is designed to protect us, but when it gets out of control and it starts to overreact to things, then it's going to start to confuse our thinking. We're not able to attend to things as well. We're not able to sleep as well. We're producing more cortisol. Our bodies don't like to be anxious all the time because it's basically just being in overdrive. So you want to watch to see how it's impacting your life and if others are telling you that they're starting to feel it from you.
Well, Dr. Brunell, I think with this snowstorm, we're getting the worst of it. It looks like you guys are going to
you're going to get bombarded. We get a pass this time.
All right. Dr. Ericka Bonell talking about the anxiety that comes with severe weather. Thanks for being with us on WBAL.
You're welcome. Be well and safe out there.